So after what we have seen in the last session about the ferrocene, the ligands, the carbonyl ligands and the nitrosyl ligands. This is a special case of molecule, that is the ferrocene, which has a remarkable property of exhibiting the sandwich type of compounds, a very good availability of pi orbitals and variety of different symmetry, and it's considered as remarkable in the sense that it has got several bonding properties, and you're going to see some of the orbitals that are associated with it, and it is sublimes without decomposition at about 500 degrees C. You know what is meant by sublimation? Direct evaporation without going to the liquid state, that is it. So Fe in the zero state has 8 electrons and 2 cyclopentadienyl anions give you the 10 electrons, therefore it has got 18 electrons. But before that, here is just have a look at what we saw last class about synergism. In the last class, we seen that there is a back bonding from uh, ligand to metal, and here is that differentiation I found very useful, may be very useful for you. It's metal here, that here you have got carbonyl. Carbonyl is having pi orbitals. When the metals approach the carbonyl, uh, two similar type color bonds, orbitals, they represent the same symmetry. Okay, same symmetry. It doesn't mention about the pi or sigma bond. It's considered as the same symmetrical bonds. Because of that, they overlap and they begin to form a type of prime bond later. Overall interaction. So as a result of that, there is a there is delocalization along the pi level, and there are orbitals which are also symmetric, and they contribute from carbon to metal. Here it is metal to carbon, carbon to metal. You see the arrow there, here it is in this direction, here it is in this direction, and therefore this is a sigma donation. And this is what we call it as the back bonding from both the orbitals, and apart from the mutual sharing of the sigma bonds. And there are orbitals that go into the sigma star, not only sigma but also into the sigma star. And this results in reduction of some charges in the metal. So as a result, there is some stability that is also associated with it. So here you have a final uh, picture of that. So keeping in view of this ligand, let's go into the metal, that is a ferrocene cyclopentadiol anion ligand. It contains the cyclopentadiol anion, which we shorten as minus. This is the minus charge there, which contributes 5 electrons for the 8 electron round, which is to be expected from the presence of 2 double bonds, that is 4 electrons and a negative charge. The anion is stable because it is aromatic in nature. This is an important point you have to mention while writing anything associated with ferrocene. It requires 4n plus 2 electrons in the pi system. Cy minus has 5 electrons and the pi system from the 5 sp2 hybrid atom. Remember, there is mention about the sp2 hybrid atom. This is about the VB theory. You cannot explain all the types of bonding using VB theory, but you have to take the support of the molecular orbital theory to explain them. So we are going to see that and how that is an area where molecular orbital theory and the quantum mechanics of the eigenvalues, you can just correlate that. Okay, so the 5 hybrid SC atoms plus 1 from the negative charge give 6 electrons in the pi system, therefore it is aromatic, and that's what we have got to look into. This 4n plus 2 is giving this 6, 4 into 1 plus 2 is 6 is equal to 6, and here you have got 4 into 2, 8 plus 2, 10. If you have got 2, it is 10. Okay, so going to the valence bond theory, you can see that the diamagnetic character. Where is the diamagnetic character? You have got this as the diamagnetic character. Okay, these are all paramagnetic in nature. Right? If the diamagnetic is stable 18 electron outer configuration can be explained using this valence band theory. You can see that this ferrocene molecule cyclopentadienyl cation is capable of giving so many electrons there. So you can just see that there are 6 pairs of electrons from 2 C phase pairings. 6 pairs. One is this one and this. So these are all the empty orbitals into which these electrons flow. And there are possibilities that some electrons may also go into this. This is 4s and 4p. They are empty, but this space is taken up by the sigma star and the pi star orbitals. Therefore, they may go into that and may just delocalize, strengthening the bondings. Okay. So here is the D2 sp3 hybridization. 6 pairs of electrons from 2 C phase pairings give D2 sp3 hybridization. Where the D? This is the D2. Okay. This is S and this is P. So you got 3, 1, 2, 3 there, and then that is it. So these electrons, by the 10 electrons, they go into these particular orbitals. Okay, you can see that there are 12, or 2 electrons are given by the ion itself, Fe2 plus, as a result of that. And then this is a very good explanation, but it cannot explain the stability. Okay, so let's have a look into this molecular orbital theory. In the group theory can be employed to determine these MOs, how these MOs interact with the orbitals of the valential Fe2 plus atom. So Fe2 plus, this is what we have seen, is capable of giving you the D6 case to give MOs of the entire molecule with correct molecular symmetry. So we are going to use this particular term where we want to talk about the symmetry and a bonding with a particular symmetry rather than pi bond or sigma bond. So this is a symmetry they are giving the D5D. For example, the interaction of the DYZ orbital of the metal with the even MOs of the ring is as pictured there. So you can see this. I'm just going below that to explain the diagram also. Here this is overlap. So let me just down it. So here is it. Okay. So what you are going to keep in mind is these 2 types of orbitals, 2 lobes of the orbitals, one which we are just shading, okay, one which is empty. Okay, imagine this as sometimes we write this as plus and sometimes we write this as minus. Imagine this is a kind of some kind of face, some kind of plane, and certain plane in which they are symmetric in nature and they are asymmetric in nature. That is, if all of them are in the same all of them having the same property, then we can consider them as being the same phase. But what is happening is the cyclopentadienal plane is there, right? Cyclopentadienal plane is there. 2 lobes are there which can consider as minus, and 2 lobes are there which are plus here. Okay, so this is giving some 2 shaded lobes, quite opposite of that. You can just find it. That means these 2 are symmetric in nature and these 2 are symmetric in nature. That is how we see it. The property possessed by this lobe is different from the property of this lobe. What is that property? Maybe it can go into the pi bonding, and maybe it's capable of going into the sigma bonding. Maybe it's capable of remaining as non-bonding electron. So this is considered as E1 symmetry of MO of the ring, an electron with the E1 symmetry. Remember, these are the eigenvalues, E1 eigenvalues. They can just get the direct eigenvalues uh, from the quantum chemical treatment. This E1 is what you see as E2 in Fe D cases. Okay, so we just write, if all of them are zeroed, we write it as a T2G. And there are cases where we can even write this T orbitals and T2G, EG, T2U, so like that. And every orbital either differs in shape, either differs in energy, either differs in the orientation. So in many cases you can classify them, either they lie in the same plane or in a different plane. They carry the same charge or there is a different charge. They may be appearing in the same sizes here, but what happens is, the charge polarization may be responsible for deviation of the symmetry from one part to the another part. Okay, so here you can see that this ion is having also 2 types of symmetry there. Here one is one symmetry, and this is matching with this, and this is matching with this. So this is a couple of overlapping with this. Only those which have same symmetry will overlap. So even of MO ring, and dxy of the metal may have same symmetry. This is what you have to write, same symmetry. Therefore, they overlap. The overlap results in bonding. Okay, so just have a look at this. Ferrocene is an extremely stable complex, stable in air to temperatures of 500 degrees C because its 18 electrons occupy only bonding and non-bonding MOs. 12 of these electrons are contributed to the structure by the cyclopentyl diene. These occupy the lowest 6 Fe numbers. Lowest means low energy. Low energy means it accounts for the stability. So this is an important point there. The 6 electrons of the Fe2 plus contribute to the ferrocene metal-like MOs, strictly anti-bonding MOs of ferrocene are not occupied. So anti-bonding are not occupied. Now just see. So when anti-bonding are occupied, it gives result to reactivity, it's instability. Okay. So just have a look at. This is an important point here, right? Just have a look at this. Maybe this diagram will help you. And before going there, I'm just going to mention a few things about this. Okay, here you see this. Don't get confused about these terms there. I'm just mentioning that just when you take two cyclopentadiene, you got same symmetries in the top. Here also the same symmetries in the top. But when you bring them closer, there is possibility that this may revert and may give rise to these things. Okay, you can take it like this, that if you bring these two symmetrical cyclopentadienes, there is more overlapping possibilities. Here there is less overlapping. So this is L stands for the lower lobe and U stands for the upper lobe there. Lower lobe of the upper part and the upper lobe of the lower part. This is upper part and this is the lower part. And you can have lower, you can have upper. That is not mentioned there. And if there is such an interaction that is symmetric with 4pz of the metal orbital. Okay, remember, if there is no symmetry, they will not overlap. No metal will overlap with the pentadienyl cations. As a result of that, they won't be involved in the bonding. They won't be involved in the bonding. Okay, here is it. The second part you can see. You got empty lobes here compared to the filled lobe there. Here you got filled and here you got empty. Okay. Now empty lobe and the filled lobe, they cannot match, but however if you force them to overlap, they are very comfortable when the upper part of the ring's lower lobe and the lower part of this is the lower lobe and this is the upper lobe. Upper ring is this one, lower ring is this one. Okay, upper ring lower lab, lower ring upper lab. So if these two combine together, they are symmetrical with the 3dz square as well as 4 electrons of the metal. Okay, so if you mix only this upper and lower, U and L only, then it is symmetric with the 4pz of the metal. If you mix U of L and L of U, it is symmetric with the dz square orbital of that particular metal. So they may overlap. Okay, they may overlap. This kind of mixing is also possible. We will never know when there is going to be mix. We will never know when the electron is getting delocalized over the lobes. And then you have a name that is given to you. This you consider as A2U, and this is considered as A1G, and this one considered as E1G. Imagine this E1G is quite closer to this E2G of the metal orbital, T2G and E1G, EG of the metal orbital. Okay, So here in this particular part, half of this is symmetric. Look at this. This is empty and this is empty. Okay, this is empty, this is empty, this is full and this is full. That is not found here. All of them are full in the upper here, full upper here. All of them are empty here. Okay, full and empty orbitals. Okay, then this is giving rise to some kind of very highly unsymmetrical, and this highly unsymmetrical results in mixing which is symmetrical with the 3D XZ orbital. 3D XZ orbital of the metal. 3D XZ orbital of the metal. So in short, you're going to use some terms such as A1, A2U, and A2G and E2G when you want to explain the molecular orbital theory. Okay, so here is some explanation that is very good, and this I found it in a very good journal. Fe2 is sandwiched between two C2H5 rings, so that the two-lobed valence orbital of Fe2 along the z-axis are having ungyrate symmetry and is definitely with the 4pz orbital. There is no nodal plane, there is no central plane. U upper ring lobe pointing downwards and L lower ring lobe pointing upward. This upward and downward is what we have seen here. Okay, these shaded lobes bear one type of phase. This is what I told you, that phase. We can imagine something as more of it having positive, that is less negative charge, and unshaded ones bear another type of the phase, say minus and or the wave function. Remember, these plus and minus are not charges. They are not charges. You can define them. Even if you want to define them in terms of the charges, you have to define in terms of the delocalization only. This is the beauty of the chemistry. In short, remember, if you have only this type of orbital, then it can be explained by VB theory. If you have an orbital in which you have got something shaded, something half shaded, something full shaded, something half shaded of the top cyclopentadiene and half shaded of the lower pentadiene cation, they mix, they are going to give different types of orbitals, different types of mixing. The two-lobed valence orbital on Fe2 alone and the z-axis is having gyrate symmetry. Fe2 and z-axis. And then here Fe2 and XZ plane. Here Fe2 and z-axis. Okay. So these are all the important points there. So remember, when you draw a cyclopentadienyl anion, you are going to get more orbitals because of the pi system there. Okay. What is happening is, some of this you consider as lower lobe, some of this you consider as the lower lobe, and here this is symmetrical and this is symmetrical. This is possible. Okay, you are going to have this and this. So if you have two such things, green will match with green, yellow will match with yellow. Okay. And how these matching orbitals are matched is because of the symmetry only. And this symmetry is with the metal orbital. So now you have an energy level diagram that can explain the ferrocene in the molecule. You can see that you have to draw this molecule. It's not okay, here it is. So you can see this one is clear. This one is clear here. Okay, can you see this? This sun is belonging to metal. Sun is belonging to metal, in which you have got these 3D electrons, metal 3D electrons up there. So this is a diamagnetic, we have already seen diamagnetic nature, and these are all maybe paramagnetic and maybe unpaired. Okay, so you have two symmetries here, two symmetry types there. Okay, Now there is this ligand orbitals. This LGO is the ligand orbital, and these are classified as A1G and A2U by some quantum chemical calculations. And here also you have diamagnetic nature, one paired system, one paired system. This is another paired system. This is another paired system. Okay, even G's and even G's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So overall you have got 18 electrons in the for the bonding, which include the 6 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the metal. Okay, 6 from the metal and 12 from the ligand. Okay, now you can put all of them E1G, E1U and A1G, A2U. This is a symmetry. Okay, remember you are not using DXY, DXZ here. You are not using here. You are using only here. Okay, but even there you are mixing this. You are mixing this orbital to get E1G and E2G. Now, when mixing is taking place, when mixing of orbital is taking place, there are several symmetry orbitals. What are those? You can see that A to U is here, A to U is here. And is there any A to U here? Here it is A to U. This A to U and this A to U will overlap. Where is this? E1U is here. And where is E1U there? There is no E1U here. No E1U. So this will remain empty. E1G is here. E1G is here. This E1G and this E1G will overlap. Okay. Don't get confused with this diagram. I'll just tell you the shortest form of this. Right? D orbitals of ion. D orbitals of ion on the right side. Okay, which is having 6. How many electrons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons. Okay, and then write 12 electrons of the ligand on the left side. Ligand on the left side. Okay, then draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels. 10 levels. Okay, and remember to put E1G and E1U. I just write here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the d orbital of the metal. Okay, in which we are going to put how many electrons? 6 electrons. So one is paired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 electrons there. And then on the left side, you are going to draw so many orbitals like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, don't bother about the system there. Just write something like this. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4. This you do not write it. Okay, so you have got 12 electrons there. 12 electrons there. This 12 electron and this 6 electron give rise to 18 electrons. Okay, how many levels? You just put 10 levels there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, in the 10 levels, you just try to put electrons in this particular manner. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 and 18. Okay, this is the thing you are going to write. Don't bother about the levels. Okay, if possible, try to remember this. So what is linked is the dotted lines, they are linking with the same symmetry there. Either ஒரே symmetry இருந்துச்சுன்னா you are just linking with the symmetry. What is that? That you should have A1U, E2G, E2U, E1G. In the right also, in the metal also, you write similar terms and then draw this structure. Okay, remember to write 18 electrons there. So 18 electrons there. So that's all. This is the molecular orbital theory. I think you have understood it very well. Just go through it, and if you are very well understand the number of electrons provided by the metal orbital and the number of electrons provided by the ligand, you can very well construct the MO diagram. Don't bother about the lines there. Just put some energy levels, and then uh, approximately you can just do this. So we are not going to qualitatively classify them. You just classifying them according to the EAN rules, and forgetting about the valence band theory, you are just going to write on the molecular theory. Okay. So I think I have been clear you. Thank you for joining me. If you have got any doubt, you just ask me.